Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming to tonight's Community Power meeting. The Plaistow Energy Committee has been working on a lot of hard projects that are saving the taxpayers a lot of dollars in our community. We've replaced all our streetlights in town with LED efficient lighting that has saved thousands of dollars a year for our street lighting. We've replaced all the light fixtures inside of our municipal buildings with LED lights that are on sensors, so you don't have to remind them like the kids at home to shut the lights off when they leave. They automatically go out. We have a solar array on our salt shed that is helping keep our costs down. Future projects we have plans for a solar array on our landfill that's just sitting there right now, so we're going to make use of that as well. We've done surveys of all the buildings to see where we can save energy across time, and this Energy Committee has really been working hard to save your tax dollars, and I'm very proud of them. There are members in the audience today that are here from the Energy Committee, and we are looking for alternate members, so if you're interested, let us know. My name is Dee Voss, and I'm the Special Projects Coordinator for the town, and I have the pleasure of introducing our consultant this evening, who has been working with the Energy Committee on developing this project and leading us through the process to bring community power to Plaistow. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Emily Mans from ECM Power. Emily.
So, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Dee, for the introduction and for describing all the fine work you're doing in Plaistow. I am a New Hampshire resident. I live in Peterborough, so I traveled over this way. I work all over the state doing community power programs, and Plaistow will be my 10th launch. So I look forward to working with you as we go through the process and then working to implement your program once it's up and running. So let's see. Okay, so I'm going to do a short presentation tonight. I have 16 slides. It's a new slide deck, but I'm pretty practiced, so it'll take about 15 minutes. If I'm talking too fast, if you have a question that you think other people will be interested in, please do raise your hand. I am happy to answer questions along the way, or if you just take a little note, and then we'll have time for question and answer afterward. So the purpose of tonight's meeting is for me to give you information about the program and to help you make a decision for your household and yourself about your participation in the program. So over the, but the purpose of the program itself, of course, is that is to find benefits for customers through the competitive markets. So in the electricity markets right now, residential customers can participate and get competitive supply. You can go out into the market and as an individual, go and get power supply. The problem is that, and what people have experienced, is that there are predatory practices. So community power, one of the things it can do is to provide consumer protections as well as participating in the competitive markets and then bring other attractive options to customers. So a little overview. It's a town purchasing program that pools the electricity of customers in Plaistow and builds them together into a group to go out into the market for savings. It's open to all customers in Plaistow, and it's authorized under RSA 53E, as I showed on the last slide, and it was approved, it was worked through by the committee, it was approved by the select board, and then the plan and program were approved at town meeting in 2024. I have 7 slides about how it works. There's a lot of information on these slides. You don't need to take notes, or the slides will be posted, so you'll be able to go back and look at them if you want. The idea here is that there are a lot of details, only some of which will apply to each person. We're covering a lot of ground tonight, and so we'll work through these quickly, but again, if you see something you want more information on, then please let me know. So it's only a supply program. It's related to bringing new supply options for residents and businesses in Plaistow. There are no changes to the delivery, transmission, emergency services are all delivered still by Unitil. Your bill still comes from Unitil. This only affects the supply portion of your electricity bill. Okay. It is open to all customers in Plaistow. So that's residents and businesses can participate in this program. There are no individual customer contracts. There are no fees to participate. You can come and go from the program. Customers on electric assistance program can keep their benefits, so they can participate. And budget billing customers can participate. Their budget billing applies only to the distribution portion of their bill. So if you're a budget billing customer, then you would just talk to the program or the utility about exactly how that would work. Current utility default customers are eligible for automatic enrollment in the program. If you are eligible for automatic enrollment and would like to participate in the program, then you don't need to do anything, and you will be automatically enrolled in the default product in the program. So this will be the majority of customers, or typically for a program launching, this is the majority of customers, and you don't need to do anything if you want to participate.
Could you repeat that, please?
Yes. So customers who are currently on the utility default supply, and I have a slide about that. I'm going to show you what that means. So I'm going to help you figure out whether you're an eligible customer or not. But customers currently on utility default supply are eligible for automatic enrollment in the program, and they will be automatically enrolled in the program unless they take action to opt out of the program or to change products in the program. And you have till the program starts to take action before the program starts, or you can take action anytime after that. You can come and go from the program. But there is an opt-out period. That's a legal requirement of the program. In addition to the hearing tonight, the meeting tonight is a legal requirement of the program. So to your point, I have an electric bill, and I'm going to show you exactly how to figure out whether you're eligible. Eligible customers that want to participate, or eligible customers that do not want to participate in the program, need to take action, and I'll show you how to do that. So on your Unitil bill, there's a section that is supplier service. So this is a kind of a recreation of a bill, or of this section. So it says electric supplier service, and then there's a period, and that's a month. Your meter read date might be the 5th of the month or the 20th of the month, but that will be a month period. And then in this section, it shows the supplier name. So if you look on your electric bill, in this section, your supplier will be listed there. If it says Unitil, then you are eligible for automatic enrollment in the program. If it says a competitive supplier, you are not eligible for automatic enrollment in the program. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, but you're not eligible for automatic enrollment, but as a resident or business in Plaistow, you are welcome to join the program. There are a couple places where the supplier name appears. Also, the supplier contact number is there. So if you have questions about your bill or questions about the program, or if you want to know who your supplier is, this is the section to look. This is the only section that the program affects on your electric bill. And I just did a little cute animation there. So if your supplier is Unitil, you are eligible for automatic enrollment. And if you want to participate in the program, you don't need to do anything. If you don't want to participate in the program, you need to take action. So I was saying other customers can join the program. If you are currently on competitive supply and want to join the program, then we just recommend that you call your current supplier. You can find their number on your electric bill. call them and make sure you don't have early termination fees. You don't have a contract with early termination fees. These are becoming less and less common, but you just want to make sure you don't want to pay an early termination fee to join the program. You want to wait till your contract's renewing. Okay, and then we're at number 5 of 7 of these slides, and then we'll get close to the rates, and then we'll end the formal presentation. So making choices, you can make choices in the program. So the program has a default option, and it has 2 optional products. Changes are effective on your next monthly meter read date. So this means that if you make a change, let's say a week before your bill date or 2 weeks before your bill date, the change will be made on your bill date, but that bill will still have your old information on it. And then your bill will reflect the change in a subsequent bill. So it can take 1 or 2 months to see a change on your bill, but it will be made as promptly as possible on your next meter read date. And then customers that return, so customers that opt out of the program. So let's say it's not right for you now, you opt out of the program, and then you decide to join later in a year or some amount of time, or you join the program, then you opt out, and then you come back. This is fine print in the contract, but customers that opt out and then return may be charged a market rate, not the program rate. Now, this is, I really want to disclose that because it does happen, but it is not a program that is common to be applied to residential customers. If you're coming and going from the program, you're teeny compared to the program, and you're really teeny compared to our supplier. So this is not a fine print or a safety valve that the suppliers use lightly at all. But I have seen it used. I haven't seen it used by the supplier that we've chosen for Plaistow. So Direct Energy Services, to my knowledge, hasn't actually applied this to residential customers. They do reserve the right to apply it to, let's say, a medium-sized commercial customer that joins the program and then wants to come and go. They want to come in for the summer or come in for the winter when the rates are high and then leave the program. Customer of that size that could influence the cost to other customers is discouraged from coming and going by being charged a market rate. So as I said, it's unlikely, but it's possible. So the safest thing to do is to, if you like the program, is to just enroll and stay with it, because then your rate will stay the same for the term of the program, which is longer than 6 months. Currently it's going to be 24 months. So instead of your rate changing every 6 months, it's going to be the same unless you make a change. So that's a new benefit, and I'll talk more about that. Net metering customers, are there any net metering customers here today? But in case we have listeners that are net metering customers, these are people with solar panels on their house or, well, pretty much solar panels. So I'll just go through this really quickly. Group net metering hosts should opt out of the program. You don't get the supply credit for your power. Customer generators that are newer, that get monetary credits on their bill, should opt out of the program. You will not get the supply credit on your bill. This is a problem statewide. We would like to serve you, but we can't, so you should opt out of the program. Customers that can participate safely are customers with newer systems, are customers with older systems that get full kilowatt-hour credits on their bills, that you can safely participate in the program, and also group members can participate safely in the program and get the program benefits as well as participating in net metering. So this is my slide right before the rate table of the program, and then after that I just have some information about contact, about how to get help, how to get more information. So the program rate options, the Plaistow default is the lowest rate in the program. So if you want savings, it offers a little bit of savings relative to the current utility default rate. So that's the lowest the lowest one. And if you take no action, that would be the rate that you will be automatically enrolled in if you're an eligible customer. And then there are 2 optional products in the program that add renewable energy. And I already said, and I've got my bold and my little flying horse there, to say the stable rates for the program term of 24 months is really an exciting aspect of the Plaistow program. Not all community programs have stable competitive rates. And this is a really nice benefit because you can just, rest assured that there's not going to be a rate change that you're, within the 24 months, within the term of the program. So actually, I have a couple more slides because I have this one. Then I'm going to describe renewable energy to you. So this is the heart of the program. From your perspective, these are the rates. So you can see on the first column says rate renewable energy and term, and then the columns across. The first one is the default program rate. So that's the rate that people will be automatically enrolled in, and that is 11.4 cents a kilowatt hour. Currently, the utility supply rate is the second to last column on the right. It's 11.777 cents a kilowatt hour. So that's some savings. The Unitil rate is only known until the end of January. The rates will change every 6 months. They will go up and down. I mean, I would love to promise you savings, but nobody has a crystal ball about the energy markets. But this is a market-based, system and savings and program for you. And it's launching with savings for residential customers. For small commercial customers, there is a small premium for the stable rate, and we'll just, see in February whether they get savings or continue at a small premium. The renewable energy in the default meets the state minimum requirements. And the optional programs have additional renewable energy in them. One has the plus 10% local green, has a little more than a third of your program would be renewable energy, and then 100%. I have a slide about renewable energy. So, so the renewable energy in your program is real. And it does work. It does come from renewable energy sources that are attached to the New England grid. The electrons could possibly make it to your house, hypothetically, and it does foster the development of new renewable energy in New England. The plus 10% local green at a small additional cost, and it's very close to the Unitil default rate. At a small additional cost, boosts your renewable energy use by 40%, or almost 40%. So you're going from 25.2 to 35.2%. That's an almost 40% increase in renewable energy. So if you believe in that and want to make a contribution to renewable energy for a little bit more money, then that's a good rate for you. The 100% renewable rate we just put in the program for people who want to have 100%. I don't want to call it local renewable energy. The renewable energy is all qualified to be New Hampshire Class 1 renewable energy, but it isn't. But as a practical matter, renewable energy resources in New Hampshire sell their power into Massachusetts, where they get more money. So we have sources in New Hampshire, but we also have sources that are in New York, in Canada. This isn't not Hydro-Quebec, that they wouldn't qualify for Class 1 New Hampshire Class 1 renewable energy. It's mostly solar. Okay, so that's the end of, so we can go back to the rate table and look at that more, but I guess, oops. So for more information about the program, or if you want to make a change, then you can call the program supplier. This is always my first choice, to just pick up the phone. You grab your bill and then pick up the phone, and they can help you make the change that you want to make. If it's on the weekend or in the evening, or you would like to go online, you can go to the program website. The address is there. The program website is hosted on my website, and so there are 2 addresses there. But the one to remember is plaistowcommunitypower.com. That's a name reserved for your program in the law, and that's the one you can remember, and that will link to the program page on my website. I have 6 communities now, so you can see what other communities I'm working with. And then every, let me see here. Okay, every customer in town will receive a letter in the mail. So if you're an eligible customer, you'll get one letter. If you are not eligible, then you will get a different letter. If you are eligible for automatic enrollment in the program, read your letter. And in that packet will be a card that you can use to opt out. There's, for people that don't want to participate, that's also an alternative, easy way to opt out of the program. So to opt out, you can call or go online or send in the card. And that, does anyone have their letter yet? Have they arrived yet? Okay, because the mail, I think this whole concept of mailing was devised when the mail service was a little more responsible about their timing. So, but you should get it. I mean, I would imagine this week. They were mailed last week. But in the next couple of weeks, you will get it in time before the opt-out deadline, I believe, is the 25th of November. So if you're getting close to that deadline, I would just pick up the phone. You could do 2 things. Send in your card, it's postage paid, and give the supplier a call and let them know what you want to do. So otherwise, for more information, you can go on the webpage. I'm adding material there all the time. The town webpage will post up important updates. And then lots of people that contact me. I did bring business cards and I forgot to put them out. So I get calls about people wondering who their supplier is, or about net metering calls. You're welcome to call me, and I do field calls. So I think that's my last slide, other than for questions. And yeah.
Is this guaranteed?
Excuse me, if you have a question, we're going to ask you to step up to a microphone so that it can be recorded and everybody can get the benefit of your question and answer. Oh, no, you need to ask it. But we just want to be able to capture it so the people listening from home or the recording will be able to hear the question as well. Let's look right here too.
All right, I have a quick question, because I am a little bit confused. Does this mean that if we opt into this, you will always beat the price of Unitel? I mean, if we decide to opt out and we stay with Unitel, then are we guaranteed that the price is always going to be better than at Unitel, or will Unitel still just maybe have a better price?
Okay, so the question is, will the program always beat the Unitil rate? And the answer is that the program is a 24-month program. That rate will stay the same no matter what happens. But the Unitil rate will change. So I can't promise you savings. I am promising you a lack of volatility and a stable rate, but I cannot promise you savings because the Unitil rate isn't known. The markets aren't known, and the default rate are not known.
Thank you, that helps. Also, what does ECM Power stand for? And is that the service it's offering that's going to be doing all of this?
Okay, so no, so ECM is my initials. I am a new company, but I'm not new at Community Power. I've been doing this I've been doing this since the Community Power law was passed in 2019. I told you that you guys are my 10th launch. And I've helped over 24 communities do their planning. The supplier working with your program is Direct Energy Services, and they are one of, they're one of 3 suppliers in New Hampshire providing community power services, and there's 2 or 3 more that provide services in New England. So we only look for really solid, experienced suppliers to work with communities, because there's so many meters, so many working parts, people coming and going from the program all the time. There's a lot of customer service that they do and that I can do. So I'm a consultant to the town and interact with customers directly as well.
Okay, and then will they still come out and read the meter and everything like that, just like we normally would, or does it matter since they're just going to lock in the rate?
So they still read your meter because that's your kilowatt hours of usage. So nothing like that will change.
And Unitil will be doing that.
Unitil will be doing all of that. The same crews will come out for emergencies. You still call the utility if you have a power outage. This is just the supply line on your bill. It's just that line.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for
That's
your
helpful.
questions. No, I appreciate you coming up to.
Three blind mice here sitting confused. Okay. I presently am under contract with another supplier, which doesn't end for a while yet. At the end of that contract, I have then the option of renewing that, going with Plaistow Power, Community Power,
Correct.
or opting out of that and going with Unitil.
Yes.
Okay.
I have one more thing to let you know.
Okay, you're going to confuse me
No,
again?
no, please ask your question. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize.
At any point, if I sign with Plaistow Community, does it restart a 24-month deal regardless when, say I sign in May versus January? Would it be 24 months from May that my price would be guaranteed, or the price would be 11 something that it shows here?
So that's a great question. I've never been asked that before, but no, it does. The program does end in 24 months in December of, not the program doesn't end in December of 2027, but this contract ends. So we will extend the program. Hopefully we get a better rate. I mean, extend the rate, but the program will continue, but the term of this contract.
The
will
24
end.
months goes from January to
It goes from,
year
yeah.
from January.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's correct. The one more thing I want to say about your competitive supply contract is that sometimes the contracts have early termination fees and sometimes they don't. So if the rate is better in the program, or, then you might want to consider us, consider the program instead of your competitive supplier. But if there are early terminations fees, then don't do it. Thank you.
I know you mentioned this previously, but I just want to ask it again. Solar panels. So residents that have solar panels or businesses that have solar panels, they should opt out of the community power program, period.
So if your system is newer than about 2018, definitely. So if you have monetary credits on your bill, you should opt out.
Now with the town, so I'm involved with the town. We have our solar array. How does that affect the town's participation with the solar array?
It's related to the meter. So that meter would not want to participate, and you shouldn't get a letter saying you're going to be automatically enrolled, but I would pay attention to the mail and the meters. And
particular
actually, I
meter.
can check for the town. I should put that on my
particular
list.
meter would be opting out of the program. The
Correct.
remaining facilities that don't have solar arrays would still be part of the program.
If they're currently on Unitil default supply, they would be automatically enrolled or could join. That's correct.
Thank you.
That's. Oh, sure.
The way we are looking at the solar array at the landfill, there'll be a company that will own and operate that. The town is just leasing the land. So that project in and of itself should have no impact on community power or the rates. That company who owns and operates the equipment on the landfill will sell electricity to whoever. One of whoever's might be community power, It may or may not be, but it won't impact any of the rates directly or force people to opt in or opt out. That's my understanding anyway. Thanks.
That was Tim Moore, the chair of the Energy Committee.
So what protections do we currently have that we would lose if I'm a default customer right now? What protections do I currently have that I would lose if I enroll in the plan or let myself get automatically enrolled?
No, you're not losing any protections. So the only thing to consider is that changes are made on your next meter read date. So you might have a few days where you are, well, okay, here's the answer to your question, which I had planted this question in the crowd and it hadn't come up yet. If you join the program and then opt out, you will be returned to Unitil variable default rate, not the fixed rate. I think there were customers in another town that got a surprise. I think they might have joined the program and then opted out in February or something. So the variable rate was a shock. It was high. But this isn't actually a problem for two reasons. One is that you will return to the fixed rate on the next utility rate change. So at most you would be, I mean, sort of the worst case is that you miss it by a day, and so you're 6 months less a day. But even that's not terrible because the variable rate over 6 months is the fixed rate, or the average of the variable rate is the fixed rate. So you could see, depending on your timing, you could have a month where your rate was high and you didn't expect it if you join the program and then opt out. Not under the program control. The variable rates, as I said, average to the fixed rate. So those rates aren't punitive in any way. It's not something Unitil is doing against the program or against you. It's not trying to discourage you from making choices. It's just the cost of power is more expensive in some months than others. So they return you to that variable rate. So you just want to know, be aware. I would say if you, if you're really watching your rates and you decided, oh, I joined and then I wanted to opt out, probably opting out in like March or April would be a good idea, like avoid those winter, but that's getting pretty detailed. But I do, as I said, I do offer, I do help customers figure out things like that. So that's the only one I can think of, really. You can come and go from the program and you just always have the utility default rate is a utility default rate. They're always there for you.
Okay, thank you. How did you pick Direct Energy Services, and what's the game plan if their generators in our area go down for maintenance or something unforeseen? What's the impact of that on our power here in Plaistow?
Okay, and that's a great question. It's a two-part. It's how did we choose the supplier, and the answer to that is we used a competitive process. Blind competitive bid. They don't know who else is bidding. They just give us their best bid, and ultimately everyone knows who the winning bid is because they can all see that Direct Energy Service won Plaistow's program, and those are the rates. But the other bidders, but Direct doesn't know who else bid in the program. And the second part is their suppliers. So generation and use is decoupled. So suppliers put power into the electrical grid and we use it. So if any particular supplier goes down, it doesn't affect your supply. That's true for renewable energy, it's true for regular energy. The suppliers, the way power gets from a supplier to a end user is through contracts. They're producing power to to serve all customers. Electrons. There aren't green electrons. They're all electrons. The generators, and ISO New England builds a up enough generation supply to serve all customers, and then you pull yours off. So the what you pay is a contract. It's not a specific supplier that you're getting your power from. So you're not exposed to their generation going down. If Seabrook goes down, everybody suffers. It's not just the people who thought they had a contract with Seabrook.
So if a portion of their generators went down, then it wouldn't affect our electric supply, you're saying, but would it affect our pricing down the line? Would that have an impact on the rate? Would there be a commercial impact?
Well, it could affect your supply because it would affect everybody's supply. It would affect the grid and through the distribution utility. If their supplies, Direct Energy is a national company. Suppliers can have problems, but they're a great, solid, experienced, municipal aggregation supplier. So, we don't. It's more. Does New England have rules to protect customers, unlike Texas that had problems? And the answer is yes. We have a lot more protections for consumers, so that you don't see rate shocks, anything like other deregulated states, like that can happen in Texas, California.
You must have known my 2021 question was coming next, because you just answered it.
Oh, really? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right. And that, rates can go up here. I think Unitil, you had 25-cent default service. Is that the highest it went for supply? 25-cent per kilowatt hour default service. So that's double. That's more than double what we're talking about today. And so it can go higher. And that's one of the things this program protects you from. Direct Energy Services was working through that period. I don't know how long they've been in doing municipal aggregation, but they didn't stop taking new customers in their programs. They were serving customers at 11, 12 cents when the Eversource default rate in Massachusetts was, 25 cents. I think they were over the, so that's, we're pretty ironclad that these are the rates, no matter what. We're protecting the customers from the upside for a longer period of time. That's why I'm in this business, because I think this is just a really great, program that people don't realize how vulnerable we are to the upside of electricity rates. So, so I don't worry so much about the utility rates going down a little bit. If they dip below the program, you can hop out if you want and hop back in but that's not what I'm concerned about. I'm, looking at the upside and protection from the upside.
Thank you. And my last question is, what happens at the end in 24 months if we decide we're going to terminate this, if for whatever reason? What's the impact of that on all of the on all the ratepayers in the plan?
So the simple answer is everyone goes back to utility default. So if for any reason the program stops, people just get enrolled with the utility default supply. So we don't intend to do that. We intend to get an even better price, run the program and create adding value, continue to add value for customers.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Great questions. Everybody's so smart. Anybody else? Well, we'll be putting all this information from tonight, including Emily's slide presentation, on our website, the Plaistow.com website. It'll also be on the website that Emily mentioned for Community Power. And if you have any questions, our contact information is there. Shane Raymaker over here is our planning technician. I'll be retiring at the end of the year, so call Shay. Emily will be available. The Energy Committee meets the first Wednesday of every month at 5 o'clock, and you're always welcome to come check us out. If you have any questions that you think, you go home and send us an email. We'll get the answers for you. But I really appreciate everybody coming out tonight and getting your questions answered in person. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Go back home.